Mark, congratulations again on the show. I am having so much fun watching you. You are thriving.
Well, that's high praise, considering you're coming from the entertainment capital of the universe, Kinsey, and the home of television news. Certainly GBNews is making a splash here in the UK, as is Jennifer Aniston, who's unfriending her unvaccinated pals.
Right? It doesn't sound very friendly, does it? But can I just call out InStyle magazine for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
If I was sitting down with InStyle for an interview and they asked my vaccination status, I would be like, my shoes are Prada and that's none of your business. Like, let's keep it to what's going on in style. I just think that's such a tacky direction to even go in. And we both know that she probably sat in for an hour-long interview and they pulled the most salacious headline that they could. And now Jennifer Aniston is probably hiding behind her mansion and in some closet with her real Prada shoes. But no, I understood when she explained on Instagram what her ultimate objective was, which was, I have some people in my life that are unable to be vaccinated, so I'm going to avoid you because I want to protect them. I understood that. Unfortunately, she did not communicate that to InStyle originally, and the quote that she did give them, it sounded like it was an assault on people that do not want to be vaccinated. I think you and I both agree that it's a personal decision. And I also think that not all of us are in a position to pick and choose who we get to associate with. We show up, we shut up, we clock in, we clock out. Some of us are working for people that don't want to be vaccinated, and we don't have the luxury to not associate with them. So this is one of those situations where I don't think she really is talking to her audience, Yeah.
And of course, not for the first time, a Hollywood star gets caught out in an interview with an out of context remark.
Right. Out of context, and I'm not sure she was prepared for it. I would not feel comfortable talking about this. This is such a polarizing conversation to have with anybody, and she's never really been at the forefront of anything political or anything that might make you pick a side. So I was kind of taken aback by this controversy, to be honest with you. I was taken aback that she'd put herself in this position.
Yes. What's the reaction been in the United States? Has it been divisive, or are people getting behind her?
I would tell you it's 50-50, and it's the people that feel insulted by her comments to InStyle. They are very loud, and they, are telling celebrities, it's your job to sit in hair and makeup and learn 90 minutes of, dialogue. And then you get paid millions of dollars while we're out here struggling. We're losing our jobs. We're having a hard time paying our car notes, paying our rent. You don't relate to us. Stop talking to us, talking down to us. And I think that she has really lit a fire under some people that feel hurt by her comments and are just tired of Hollywood telling them how to function.
Yes, and it's very interesting, isn't it? Because as in the UK, Kinsey, we've seen an almost political divide in relation to COVID measures. And it seems that in the United States, you've got sort of Republican governors like Ron DeSantis in Florida, who has sort of lifted COVID restrictions many months ago. He's not wearing a mask. The governor of Texas just recently outlawed COVID passports. And then you have Democratic states that seem to be favouring stronger COVID measures. So the pandemic itself seems to have become a political issue.
It has 100% become a political issue here in America. And you're exactly right. Ron DeSantis, we're going to talk about Donald Trump later. Ron DeSantis has really been elevated throughout this pandemic for his leadership. So while the Democratic states are tightening up, here in California, I can't go anywhere without a mask, which is why I just sit in my guest room all day long in front of my flower wall. But I do think that people like Ron DeSantis are really making a name for themselves by bucking the system and saying, we do believe in science, but we also believe in freedom and personal choice.
And is that resonating not just, within the state, but is that resonating across America? Are lots of people thinking, gosh, I wish Ron DeSantis was our governor?
It obviously depends on who you talk to. I think he's making waves. And I think that because he's different and because he challenges the system, he's getting on people's radar that normally wouldn't have anything to do with him. I don't know if they're willing to admit yet that he's an attractive candidate. I don't know if they're willing to admit that yet, but he's definitely become a topic of conversation.
Yes. Meanwhile, somebody that's always a topic of conversation is Meghan Markle, who is 40, and she's celebrated in style.
Absolutely. She sat down with Melissa McCarthy. They put together this cute little video where Meghan introduces everybody to her 40 times 40 campaign, where she wants people like Adele and some of these influential celebrities to sit down with women that are trying to get back into the workforce after COVID. What I would say to you, and we're looking at it right now, is I have stressed over the last few months that I do believe that Harry and Meghan have good intentions. They want to change the world in a positive way, and they needed to fixate on that and focus on that and let go of some of this hate that they have been putting towards the royal family, some of this negativity. Just make it all positive vibes, right? That's Meghan Markle, the California girl. Unfortunately, though, somebody in their PR team or in the marketing department of Archewell thought it was a good idea to mock the royal family within this video, as if they're admitting that there's no interest in this couple without the association. And so you'll see Melissa dressed almost as the queen with a cute little teacup. It just makes you wonder who thought that was a good idea, because you've got celebrity in the video, you've got Meghan, you've got Harry. We haven't seen either one of them in a minute. It wasn't necessary.
And what did you make of this rather forlorn figure of Prince Harry captured through the window of their mansion, juggling quite unsuccessfully?
I mean, what are they trying to do with this guy's brand? What is the objective with this? I am having I understand that they were like, oh, it's cute, but if they want people to respect, you have shows like HBO's The Prince, I believe it's called The Windsors, that paint Prince Harry as a joke. Uneducated, incapable of making a decision on his own. You have got to really position this man as, again, a thought leader, somebody that is ahead of the curve, that is, I just don't understand what they're doing with him.
Yes, because you actually, last time we spoke, you talked about how he's, in principle, being groomed in the way that a president would be prepared for high office, with the publication of a weighty memoir, lots of philanthropic work, concerns about climate change, lots of keynote speeches. That was the plan, but that's not what we saw with the juggling clown through the window.
No, I just think that they need to get on the same page, because if they do want Prince Harry to stand up on the same stage as, Barack Obama and Joe Biden and some of these individuals, he has got to break away from that negative parody that he has become in some of these, TV shows that are obviously parodies, but they're parodies that are hitting a little too close to home based on headlines from when he was just a teenager. And I do believe he's a very intelligent individual, and I'm rooting for him, but I thought that this was an ill thought out plan. If you need for him to make a cameo, just have him pop in his head and say hi, or I don't know. I just didn't think that it was necessary.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump, back in the news, his former chief spokesman, Sean Spicer, has got quite an amazing prediction for us, Kinsey.
I mean, well, first of all, somebody should probably tell Sean that he's no longer the spokesperson for Donald Trump. That was my first instinct when I saw this. But yeah, he thinks that Donald Trump is going to run in 2024. And, I have to tell you, Mark, I think that he very well could, and that he has a very good chance. I do think that this is something we should keep on our radar. And it's like I said before, if it's not Trump, I do think we need to look at Ron DeSantis. But I don't think that this is a fantasy. I think that he is definitely not going to announce it until we get closer. Obviously, you read Art of the Deal. I'm assuming you read Art of the Deal. It's just not in his nature to come right out and announce something like that. He's going to pounce. He's going to sneak up on everybody. But I think it's something that we should look forward to. I do think he's strategizing behind closed doors. And, if somebody were to argue that he was a divisive president, I'd say not so much his policies, maybe the rhetoric. And I think that we should look forward to seeing him again in 2024. He recently spoke in Arizona. He's still very much in the mix. Recently spoke in Arizona at a GOP event with Carrie Lake, who's running for governor there. Both are very, very popular. They drew a huge crowd. So he's seriously a competitor.
Yes, and I guess he would be front of the queue for the nomination for the Republicans in the primaries. I mean, even though Ron DeSantis is now very popular, it would be Trump's to lose, I would have thought, the nomination.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw those two team up, because they do have that positive, the reaction to them on the conservative side is so positive. And you know what I'd say about Ron DeSantis? He executes. President Trump, he made a lot of promises that he perhaps couldn't execute on. And I would argue that there were some obstacles in his way, but DeSantis executes. He completes what he says he's going to do, which is why I think that they would make a very interesting pairing. I don't think Mike Pence, I don't think you're going to hear that name again for quite some time.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Consigned to the dustbin of history. Kinsey, it's been fantastic to have you on the show. Let's catch up soon. Kinsey Schofield is, thank you so much, the founder of the popular royal website To Die For Daily, and also she's got a fantastic Twitter feed as well. Kinsey Schofield, thanks for joining us.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.